What's up, infinite beings? Welcome along to the Infinite Me. It's great to have you here. And yet again, we're talking about how to be infinite and how to incorporate more infiniteness into your life.
Yes.
So I'm Nat, and over there, I was
Mandy.
Mandy. She keeps moving. No, she doesn't. Every day she's over there. So today we want to have a quick chat, and it literally will be a quick chat because I have to get off and talk to my mum and dad. There you go, in Australia. And we want to have a quick chat about not buying into reality and actually staying true to your path and allowing reality to create itself around that. So there's a very different concepts, because what's normally happening is people are looking at reality and going, oh my God, my relationship's falling apart and I have no money and my job is shit and all this stuff is happening. And then we go and try to fix it or change it or improve it or do all those sorts of things. And a lot of personal development circles, I believe, have been trying to do that for years, and it doesn't work. So what I guess we're really talking about today is actually taking a step back, going, reality is already manifested. You can't change what's out in front of you. You actually have to go in internally and actually change that part first, and then allow that to flow into reality and to shift reality itself and the thing that's presenting in front of you.
Yes.
And it takes time because of the nature of reality itself. It's a dense energy form, and it does take a little time to catch up to what might be going on for you energetically in the internal world.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I think it just brings back that concept, as thinking, as you're saying that, it brings back that concept of the movie screen projector type idea that we've talked about before. So the infinite consciousness is like we're saying that's like the director, the writer, the everything that kind of creates the movie. So what you're seeing projected onto a movie screen, you can't actually change that. Like that's like 3D reality that Nat's talking about. So you can't go up to a movie screen and kind of try to change what a character's doing or what they're experiencing. It has to come from the creator of the movie that's being projected out. So it feels a little bit like that too. Yeah. So to put it in that way, you'll think, I can't change a movie screen. So it makes sense that I have to go back to the beginning of how the movie was actually created and what's being projected out. So you do have to work on that internal space to change the internal feeling that's flowing through you, and then your actions respond from that and your reality changes. And as you said, it can take some time, but it can also happen quickly as well when we get out of the way of, like, we don't have the limitations around it sometimes as well. So like the more we can drop our limitation and expectation of how long things take as well, we can actually speed up our reality too, in terms of how fast things can manifest too. But maybe there's a higher reason that things don't manifest as fast as they do as well. So we might want it to happen tomorrow, but maybe there's a very good reason that it takes 2 weeks to manifest, because there's something else that comes into play that we're kind of unaware of at a human conscious level too. So that
I think it's important to remember that, isn't it? That as in human form, we're not actually aware of the bigger picture. We might think that, but there's so much more going on behind the scenes that our infinite self is taking care of that we are just not aware of. So different timings of things coming into play, and if you really sort of do think about the bigger picture, it's like the infinite is coordinating all of this, all of the human beings to function with each other, and for opportunities to come up and filter into this person's life but not into this person's life, and this person moves out and this person, just this massive chess set going on. Like, it's so ridiculous. And it's like only the infinite can take care of all that. So there's a lot of stuff that we're not aware of, and I guess that is that level of acceptance of, like, okay, maybe I missed that train for a reason, or maybe that person didn't call me for a reason, or maybe that opportunity didn't land on my doorstep like I expected it to, type thing. But there is a higher reason for that. And something else is forming at the moment that I'm just not aware of. But just taking a step back, I think the movie analogy is actually a really good one, man, because the only way to change what's being projected onto the screen is to go back and rewrite the script, is to give the characters brand new character arcs and hero stories and change their personalities. You can't actually do that on the movie screen. It's like trying to liquid paper the computer screen. Wasn't that blonde joke? It doesn't quite work. I've tried it a few times, but it doesn't. So I think that's the thing. It's like it's a really good analogy to remember as you go through life, and you actually are going, oh God, I need to improve my health, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, and all these things need to change in life. And it's like, it's not going to work. You have to really take a step back and change the internal aspect of it first, rewrite the script.
Yes.
And project it out into the world so that it does come out really differently.
Yes. And if you want it to be in flow, I guess, and feeling like it's coming from that infinite space, then definitely, going back to that internal inner space that we talked about a couple of days ago is the most important thing, because like what you did say, you can't change it on the outside in reality, although we try to, and we probably tell ourselves that that's actually what's happening, but it's not. Like it might look like, oh no, I did change that, I changed my job, or I did, it looks, you can argue that and kind of go, no, it did happen, and I did affect my outer reality, but something had to happen internally for you to make that decision to go and quit that job or get a new job. So it is always coming from the inside. It's just what we've probably convinced ourselves that it is happening out there in front of us, and we are changing it in front of us, which is not actually what's happening. But the other thing that's coming up around that changing it on the outside is that's usually just coming from that reactive space when we want to change it because we're not happy with the circumstance on the outside. So the ego is kind of reacting to wants to kind of avoid that situation because of the feelings that it's bringing up. It's uncomfortable, or it's it's putting you out of your comfort zone, or it's challenging those aspects that we've talked about, security and all those things that the ego is kind of searching for too. So anytime that you feel like you have to change it from that outside, it is coming from that ego limited space versus going the internal that Nat's been talking about.
Yeah, I guess that's it. It's sort of, you still have to take inspired actions, obviously. It doesn't mean like just change the internal and sit on a mountain and meditate and have a different, visual of the, car in the garage type thing that, your dream car type thing. You actually have to take some inspired action along the way. But you're right in that there is a difference between that inspired action that comes from the internal of take this action next, that we have talked about before, but also very different to I really don't like my circumstances right now type thing. Like I'm trying to run away from it because it is uncomfortable, and you are trying to fix, change, or improve it because you've got a judgment that it shouldn't be in your life right now. Like you should, or it should be different to the way it is. So I should have more money. I should have a better relationship. I should have a nice boss. I should have a better job.
Yes.
All those things are really just being driven by the ego rather than stopping and going, okay, why don't I have any money right now?
Yes.
What's going on for me with that? Like, do I have something around the money aspect that I haven't woken up to yet? That I, have I still my power in money rather than actually just having the power in the infinite and allowing the money to flow through? Like, am I putting the power into my job that says that's where I get my money from rather than seeing the truth of it, which is money always comes from the infinite. It doesn't come from the job. It comes through your job.
Yes.
Into reality. So it's so I guess it's just about taking a step back and really being really honest with yourself about why do you want something shifted and changed? Because it might just be making you feel uncomfortable.
Yes, true. Yeah.
And that just isn't just your story. That might be other people's stories too, where you want other people's stories to change.
Yes, true.
Not because you want it necessarily for them. It's because it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you're trying to change their life as well by giving opinions on other people.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I was just thinking about the kind of like a line along the lines of what you're just saying is like that to do with money, like you're trying to change your circumstance to do around money. What I've just kind of been seeing more recently is this idea that the decision, you need to make a decision, like if you're following the infinite feeling that's coming through and you feel very called to something, and so you reach a decision point that you're going to do something or you're going to shift this habit, or because it feels really naturally, inspired to do that action. You don't actually have to know the how part of that yet. So the money, we kind of want to go, well, I need to do this action because it's going to generate this result. But it's more, you just need to make the decision based on that inspired feeling coming through, and you don't have to know any of the details right now. This sort of came out of a conversation I just had in the last 24 hours with somebody. It was around this idea that our mind wants to kind of just immediately cope. Oh, but no, but I need to take that action to create that. Like, that's just what we're used to seeing. But it's like, no, you actually just have to make the decision and stay out of the rest of the details, and the rest will show up. Like, you'll be guided to what the next thing is. You'll feel it come through you. It will be guided from the outside because you made that decision. But that's the actual key point, is that you have to make the internal choice point, and then it starts to change on the outside. And you'll be guided to that action rather than you kind of reacting and coming up with a game plan, if you like, of how to achieve that decision point that you think you've just reached. That's purely coming from the ego when you stand in that space. So acting on that. So that was just coming up with what you're saying. And the other thing that we just chatted quickly about before we jumped on, which I don't know if you said in the beginning, you may have, was around this idea that what you're seeing on the outside is coming from things that you decided a while ago, you know, like, so it's not happening. Like, so it could be a belief that you've had running, and you made a decision around something like a month ago, and now it's showing up in your reality, and you're like, oh my God, why is this thing showing up? But if you were to trace it back, you would probably see a point where you kind of go, oh yeah, I can kind of see where I got caught up in that, or I felt really powerless around that situation, and I said I'd do this thing and I didn't really want to do it. And so now you're seeing the ramifications, if you like. Yeah, the consequences of that belief pattern or that choice that you made. So it's not and Nat was sort of talking around that. It's like it is a key point. It's like that the reality that you're seeing in front of you is not actually it is being created in the moment, but it's also a reflection of what's been going on for you internally on definitely on the internal level. Yeah,
I sort of always say that, don't they? If you want to know what your belief systems are and your patterns, just look around you. Like, you've got it 100% in front of you.
What's happening in reality? Yes.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, it's all it can do. Like, all reality can do is reflect back to you what's going on for you internally.
Yes,
that's all it is. So if you've got great relationships around you, then you're pretty cool with relationships, and you're very open and very genuine and authentic and all those sorts of things. If you've got people around you that are like that, then that's what's going on for you.
Yes.
If you've got no money, then something's going on internally for you to actually reflect that back into reality.
Yeah. The only caveat I would have to that, actually, just as you're saying that, like this distinction between the infinite space, because sometimes it can look like your outside circumstance is not changing, and you might kind of go, no, but I'm really working on my internal stuff, and I don't feel like I've got a block around that. So I would say, even just for ourselves, like, we've been talking about this lately in the last couple of months, because some things have been coming up for us around our creations and what we're putting out into the world.
Yeah.
But I think there does come a time when sometimes you get into a space where you need to take your power back out of those stories too. So it might look like on the outside something is still not shifting. Like, it might still be showing up like, oh, I'm still not having a lot of money coming in, or I'm still having this relationship problem. But if you're using those opportunities when those feelings come up and you're like, oh my God, I want to change that circumstance. If you then take that more internally and kind of take your power back out of that situation, which means just literally sitting with that feeling, not judging it, it's just observing it, letting it be, and it will pass away and become part of that infinite space. You tap more into that infinite space. So sometimes you're just being given an opportunity to keep taking your power back out of a situation and telling the truth that it's not actually real. This is not the truth of reality. I'm an infinite being, and I'm creating this. So sometimes something might look like it's on repeat, and it's for that reason. It's not that you're not doing the internal work too. It might be just an opportunity to practice that more, or you have a lot of power invested in a particular way of being, and you need to do that to really shift it. So that could be the only other thing that just sort of popped into my head as you said.
I definitely agree. Yeah. That's a good point to mention for sure. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm going to have to run. Sorry, this is so short. We probably could have talked a little bit longer about this, but I actually have another appointment. So,
it's all right. We could pick it up another conversation.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If we feel like there's more juice in this, we can certainly talk about this again tomorrow and dive into it a little bit more. I'm sure some other ideas will pop into our head about things that we could talk about.
Yes. Yep.
So I'll leave it there, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.
Yes. Thanks for joining.
All right.
Yeah.
Play in now.